Okay. Thank you, Peter. That's, I get goosebumps. Okay, real quickly, we have talked in the last year about bringing back our market tour, and we ran into, had delay. Well, I can tell you it's happening. Okay. We find that it was one of the most successful events the club has ever done. Everybody that went loved it, and the guy that put it on has agreed to do it once more for us. So I'm going to let Jim come up here and tell you a little bit about it. The date is going to be January 13th. So for those of you interested, mark that day down, and the rest is up to you.
First of all, I want to thank CEC University for the honorary degree. When I looked at, I don't know who gave me that PhD. Was it you, Ken?
No.
Oh, Dave? Maybe it's somebody. Anyway, I don't have a PhD. Okay, all right. I'm putting it on my resume, okay, because it looks good. But yeah, actually, I don't have a PhD. We did the first market tour in 2019, and I think the reason I wanted to share that is I thought I was having all the fun going to these markets on the weekends, and wanted to share that experience. So it was pre-pandemic, of course, and I think we sold out in 20 minutes on one of the CEC breakfasts. And the tour was a lot of fun. We did a buffet lunch halfway through. Probably the most exciting part of the tour was when I think we were at the JJ Market, and the bus driver backed the bus through the big JJ Market sign, and the sign went through one of the back windows of the bus and nearly took the heads off two of our people. But later we discovered that it was the bus driver's first time driving a bus. So I think we're going to be vetting our bus drivers better this next time. And this tour is going to be the 13th, Saturday, January 13th. And we're still lining up the markets and trying to figure out what we're going to do for lunch. But the demand was so great after the last one that we had scheduled another tour for the, I think, 2020 in May. And of course, then the pandemic happened, and so 3.5, close to 4 years later, we're going to be back on track with this. I thought what I would do is just show you, just to kind of whet your appetite a bit, some of the kinds of things that you can find in these markets. And for me, I'm not an expert in any of this, but it's a hobby, and usually almost every weekend that I go out, I bring something home, and then I get online and I start researching to see what I found. And so, I mean, it's a fun hobby, a way to educate yourself, and find decorative objects and things at actually usually bargain prices to put in your home. So I'll just kind of go through just some of the things that I've come across in these markets, and actually I'll put in a good word for the silent auction that's coming up for the Polar Express too, because being a maximalist and coming from a family of hoarders, I've got too much stuff, so I'm taking a truckload of stuff over or carload to the auction. So there'll be some of my finds that will be available to help with the buying these. What were they again? The tablets for these kids. So I'm just going to kind of go through these. The other thing is, most of you have to do a little bit of work on most of the items that you find. I've never quite understood why everything is pretty much in as-found condition at these markets, because I think if the dealers would just scrub them up a bit, they could probably sell quicker and for more money. But I'll just kind of show you what some of the things are that we've picked up. This is a Qing Dynasty jade and gold Buddha, and I was walking through the market one day. I'm like, oh my God, it's pretty incredible. And this one actually didn't need any cleaning. at our house kind of, it's just beautiful. I look at it every day. This one, it's a sandstone Buddha. I was walking through the flea market and I looked at it and I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to afford this. And so I asked the guy how much he wanted it for. It was 100 baht. I took it home and just spray painted the base. This is it's a Lao bronze Buddha. It just needed some scrubbing and a little bit of wax. And I make up my own waxes I use beeswax, a combination of beeswax and olive oil. And what I like about this wax is it tends to bring out some of the color of the bronze and gives it a nice patina. This one, I was leaving the flea market one day and I saw this little bronze pagoda. And so I went home and went online and tried to find these and see if what it was. And they're very rare and very difficult to find. I went back and this came out of a pagoda in Burma. And the story is that the pagoda collapsed, and this was a village that had converted to Christianity, and so the village chief wanted to get rid of the Buddhist imagery. So this one ended up on display. Again, it's a polished up and it's beautiful. It's still got gold leaf on it. This just shows another bronze out of that pagoda. And a lot of times it does take a bit of work, but if you like doing this stuff, it's fun. Chipping out the some of the dirt and junk that's in it. This one also came together pretty nicely. These, there's one dealer, he's an old guy, Uncle Hang, and he comes up, he's got just a little table, but these amulets are from Laos, and they're actually done on the back of monkey skulls that I'm sure the monkeys were probably eating for dinner. These are probably, I'm guessing they're a couple hundred years old. And I've never seen anything like it, and I can't find anything like it on the internet, but I took them, cleaned them up, and framed them, and kind of make a nice display. These are bronze cowbells. Again, I get these from Uncle Hang, and I just take them home. And usually I come back from the market, sit on the front porch, and bring the polish out and spend the afternoon. I just clean in some antique Thai bowls with a couple of, actually they're antique iron nutcrackers from the U.S. Another Buddha, this one, again, it's a very good buy at 1,500 baht. This was at the Chiang Mai auction in their showroom. You can see on the base there's still dirt and debris. Polish that one up. One day at the flea market, I was walking through and I noticed these platters, and they're from a shipwreck in the South China Sea. And I took a good look at them, and they ended up going home with me. There were several others. These are Ming Dynasty. And, part of what's fun for me is this, when I buy something, I end up doing a lot of research, and these dynasty markings on the back, it's like learning a whole new language, and I'm just at the very beginning of that, but, it's, for me, it's just an adventure in learning about different cultures. I cleaned these up a little bit, not as much as actually the guy who bought these from his mother thought he was helping him, and she scrubbed everything off one of the platters. It's not worthless, but there's no indication that it ever came out of a shipwreck, so that it was devalued. So I mean, you want to clean things up a bit, but leave some patina and some evidence of the history. That's my cat on one of the Qing Dynasty platters, so they're well appreciated at home. Now this is one, and there's something else that we're talking about, maybe doing after the tour. The tour's going to be January, and once we get into February, we're into the smoky season. And so one of the things we're talking about doing is maybe doing a workshop where people bring in their trash and we turn it into treasures. I found this carved piece for 175 baht at the flea market. And again, I usually come home and start working on these pieces right away. And this one took only about 3 or 4 hours. I first painted it with a base coat, and then I mixed up my own antique finishes so I can give it a patina. So, and then this one ended up on display at the house. And then this is actually one of my favorite pieces. I found this at, it was a secondhand market, which is no longer, it went out of business, I think, along with the Promenade. They were across the street from each other. But I was driving through the market and I saw this frame and I thought, well, the frame looks pretty interesting, and I couldn't even tell there was a painting. But I thought, well, I'll buy it for the frame and throw the junk out that's in the middle. I brought it home, took it out of the car, and our 3 Boston Terriers went over and immediately initiated it. So I think it wasn't the first time that it had suffered that indignity. But I started looking at it a little closer and realized that maybe it was the painting that had the beauty. And I still have the frame, but I went online to find out what you do. And so again, I learned a new skill. How do you clean an old painting? And I ordered supplies from Bangkok and then went to work on it and then had it reframed, and this is what I ended up with. So, and I don't know that it's a Jackson Pollock, but we did have guests come to our house after I hung this on the wall, and they walked over to it immediately, and the wife said, well, that's a Jackson Pollock, I hope you have it insured. I'm like, I don't know that it is, and it probably isn't, and I don't have the provenance, but I mean, it sure looks good, and I paid 2,000 baht for this piece, and it's kind of a centerpiece on our wall. So I think these markets are fun, and I really encourage any of you that enjoy this kind of thing to come along with us, and then I think we'll talk, because we have opportunity to chat with each other during when we're on the bus and during the lunch, and if there's enough interest, we'll put together a workshop seminar in February, and we'll do it in an enclosed air-conditioned space where we're breathing good air, and we can take some of your finds and turn the trash into treasures. Thank you. I guess I should ask too, any questions? Okay, good, thanks.